Hi everyone, welcome back to Speak English Academy. I am Saranavasappa. In today's video, I will be discussing the modern novelist Muriel Spark and her great novel The Prime of the Miss Brodie. It is a dystopian novel. First look at the biography of Muriel Spark. See, Dame Muriel Sparks was born in Bruntsfield, a area of Edinburgh on 1st February 1918 and she died on April 2016 at the age of 88, Florence, Tuscany, Italy. She was the daughter of Bernard Camberg, an engineer, and Sarah Elizabeth Mott, her mother. She was a British novelist, short story writer, poet, and an essayist. Her novels are The Comforters. It is the first novel published by Muriel Spark in 1957. It was written shortly after her conversion to Roman Catholicism, a branch of Christianity founded by Saint Peter in Rome. Robinson, which was published in 1958, is the second novel by Muriel Spark, takes up the story of plane crash survivors marooned in an island. The third one is The Ballad of the Peckham Rye, published in 1960. Spark delves into the supernatural elements once again. Fourth one is The Girls of the Slender Means, published in 1963. Spark draws inspiration from her own life. It is set in the post-war years. The fifth one, The Driver's Seat. Next, Not to Disturb, The Hot House by East River, The Abyss of Creve, The Takeover, The Territorial Rights, The Loitering with Intent, The Only Problem, A Far Cry from Kensington, Symposium, Reality and Dreams are the main important novels written by Muriel Spark. She was the dominant modern English novelist, especially women novelist. Most of her novels deals with the dystopian novel, the problems of modern women which faced in their particular period or days. So now I will discuss her important and famous novel, that is The Prime of Miss Brodie. Now look at the characters. Miss Brodie, this is the main character of this novel and the protagonist of the novel. Miss Brodie is an unmarried teacher in her 30s at Marcia Blaine School. This Miss Brodie set 6 girl students team. That team is called Brodie set or Brodie team. It is nothing but a 6 female students group. They always follow Miss Brodie and her guidance. First one student is Sandy Strangers. Sandy Strangers is one of the girls who falls under the influence of Jane Brodie. She is observant and imaginative. Next, Rose Stanley. Rose Stanley is in the Brodie set. She is known for her looks and becomes a close confidence. Rose Stanley in the Brodie set. Rose Stanley is in the Brodie set. She is known for her looks and becomes a close confidante of Sandy's. Monica Douglas. Monica Douglas is one of the girls in the Brodie set. She is known for her short temper and talent for maths. Eunice Gardiner is one of the girls in the Brodie set and is constantly doing gymnastics and athletics to entertain. Jenny Gray is one of the girls in the Brodie set. She is known for her good looks and is a close friend of Sandy Strangers when they are young. Mr. Lloyd is the art teacher at the Marcia Blaine School and is in love with Miss Brodie despite being married. Mr. Lowther. Mr. Lowther is the singing teacher at the Marcia Blaine School and becomes romantically involved with Jean Brodie. Another character, Miss Gant, is a teacher at the Marcia Blaine School who takes over for Miss Brodie's class while she is gone. Next, Joyce Emily Hammond. Joyce Emily Hammond is a later pupil of Miss Brodie. She is rebellious and runs away to join the Spanish Civil War, where she is killed in a train accident. Miss Alison Kerr is one of the swing teachers at the Marcia Blaine School along with her sister and becomes a housekeeper for Mr. Lowther. Miss Ellen Kerr. Miss Ellen Kerr is Alison Kerr's sister. Deirdre Lloyd. Deirdre Lloyd is the wife of Mr. Lloyd with whom she has 6 children. She never seems to suspect Mr. Lloyd of his feeling for Miss Brodie and encourages the Brodie set to visit often to seek for paintings. Miss Lockhart. Miss Lockhart is the science teacher at the Marcia Blaine School and ends up marrying Mr. Lowther. Mary McGregor. Mary McGregor is one of the Brodie set and is frequently shunned and blamed by the others, including Miss Brodie. She dies in a hotel fire at 23 East. Miss Mackey is the headmistress of the Marcia Blaine School and is constantly looking for reasons to fire Miss Brodie for her unorthodox teaching methods. Now look at the summary of the Prime of Miss Brodie chapter wise. Totally this novel is consisted of 6 chapters. So what is written in particular chapter? Now I have to look at the summary. See, a group of girls is outside the Marcia Blaine School for Girls, talking to a group of boys. This group of girls is known as the Brodie set or Brodie team, the Brodie group, which refers to their teacher Miss Brodie of the school and denotes the fact that they have been greatly influenced by Miss Brodie's unorthodox teaching methods. Each girl is known for different characteristics, yet they identify as a group despite how little they have in common otherwise. Miss Brodie emerges from the school gates to inform them. Them refers to her Brodie's students. There is a new plot afoot to get her to resign, which she will not do. She reminds them she is devoted to teaching them in her prime. One of the biggest lessons she tries to teach the girls is that goodness, truth and beauty are more important than safety. She often has them pretended to be reading while she intended tells them about her personal life and opinions in the class. Chapter 2. Later in life, a few of Miss Brodie's students reflect on the fact that their time in Miss Brodie's care was the happiest time of their lives. Miss Brodie wishes she had had them in her charge when they were younger and thinks that it may be too late for her to do them much good. She also tells them she will never get married. She is singularly devoted to them in her prime. Over the course of 2 years together, Miss Brodie selects her favorite students and brings them into her confidence. However, it is revealed in a flash forward that one of Miss Brodie's girls ultimately betrays her, leading to her forced retirement. In another flash forward, Sandy Stranger recalls as a nun that her greatest influence in life was Miss Brodie. Meanwhile, in the present, Miss Brodie and the headmistress remain at odds over her teaching methods. Chapter 3. Miss Brodie's status as a spinster means a bachelor, one who is not married. It is not usual in the 1930s as many available men had been killed in the war, leaving a large number of single women who had expected to be married. The Brodie set, in turn, is increasingly fascinated by the topic of sex and relationship as they enter adolescence. When Miss Brodie returns from her summer vacation, she tells the girls of how impressed she was by the Italian Prime Minister Benito Mussolini and his fascistic soldiers. Miss Brodie's colleagues continue to represent her except for the only two men on staff, Mr. Lloyd and Mr. Lowther. The Brodie quickly realizes that the two men are in competition for her attention. Monica Douglas claims to have seen Mr. Lloyd kiss Miss Brodie in the art room after school, and the set begin to notice a change in the three teachers and the way they interact. Years later, Miss Brodie confirms to Sandy Stranger that she kissed Mr. Lloyd and that they were in love, but it never went any further because he was a married one. She did have an affair with Mr. Lowther at the time Miss Brodie and Mr. Lowther are gone from the school and Brodie's set is placed with a new teacher, Miss Gant. Sandy reveals in a flash forward that it was she who betrayed Miss Brodie and got her fired. Now look at chapter 4. The Brodie set moves on to the senior school. Under the tutelage of a new teacher, the headmistress tries in vain to split up their group, but Miss Brodie's influence prevails. They continue to see Miss Brodie every Saturday for tea, and each week she inquires after Mr. Lloyd. However, she continues seeing Mr. Lowther visiting him on Sundays after church. Meanwhile, she is suspicious of the two sisters from the school who attend to his shopping and cooking. Miss Brodie begins to supervise them when they come on Saturdays, which means the Brodie set must come to Mr. Lowther's for their visits. The girls have also begun visiting Mr. Lloyd in his home, and Miss Brodie quizzes them on every aspect. She is pleased to learn Rose Stanley has been sitting for him to paint her portrait. Rose Stanley and can't believe how much it resembles Miss Brodie instead. Some of the others had begun sitting for portrait with him as well, and those also look like points it out to Mr. Lloyd. He kisses her suddenly. Meanwhile, Miss Brodie worries about Mr. Lowther and whether he is planning to marry one of the sisters who look after him. She makes herself indispensable by cooking for and feeding him but refuses to marry him. She also continues to test the girls to see whom she can trust the most to confide in and ultimately tell Sandy everything. Sandy is becoming drawn to a spiritual belief of Calvinism, which makes her examine Miss Brodie's choices with more scrutiny. She senses that Miss Brodie only wants her as an informant on the potential affair between Mr. Lloyd and Rose, though it will eventually be Sandy who has an affair with him, although Miss Brodie believes she could marry Mr. Lowther at any time. She shocks her by becoming engaged to Miss Lockhart. The last chapter, that is chapter 6. Miss Mackay continues with her quest to force Miss Brodie to retire. Miss Brodie and her set fascinate one of Mr. Brodie's new students, Joyce Emily Hammond, and Miss Brodie encourages her to live to fight her fascism in the Spanish Civil War. Weeks later, it is discovered that Joyce Emily Holland ran away to Spain and was killed during an attack on the train she was riding. Meanwhile, the Brodie set begins waiting. Each girl eventually finds her calling. Sandy Stranger informs Miss Brodie of how closely Mr. Lloyd's paintings approach resemble her, which delights Miss Brodie, who sees herself as his muse. Sandy also begins sitting for portraits with Mr. Lloyd and they begin an affair. Miss Brodie learns of it and doesn't approve, but it is reassured by the fact that all of his portraits still look like her. Sandy becomes more curious about Mr. Lloyd's religious beliefs, which prompts her to pursue life as a nun. When Sandy returns to the school after she graduates to have tea with the headmistress, she tells her she will help her get rid of Miss Brodie, whom she has come to realize is dangerous. She informs Miss Mackay that Miss Brodie is a fascist who influences her students' political beliefs. Miss Brodie is finally let go. Miss Mackay reveals to her that one of her own girls betrayed her. And Sandy reveals to a convent visitor that her greatest influence is a Miss John Brodie in her prime. So, so this is the chapter-wise summary and some of the important novels of Muriel Spark, the modern women novel. You know this, the Prime of Miss Brodie is a dystopian novel as other novels. New Brave World and some of the novel by George Orwell and others. So you have to watch this video from beginning to end and like the video and comment, share to your friends and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video. I will meet you again with another one interesting novel.